So a very interesting pickup, and more than likely we're going to see that core Dazzle in this one as well. I mean, could be the core lock, the core Warlock that is, but I think that's a much less likely scenario than just seeing this core Dazzle that we've become accustomed to over the last couple of months. So something interesting to note going forward. To some extent, it denies melee matchups in the mid for compLexity. For Limp, we know he's definitely a great Timbersaw player, but he has a wide hero pool in general, the boy Linus. And so now compLexity likely looking for that one position. Still is a PA on the board. And you do, in some respects, want some burst potential during the Black Hole, up against the Dazzle, Shallow Grave.
Radiant team back.
Okay, so I mentioned sort of Limp's prowess on this hero, and it's not necessarily the case that it'll be going mid, but, you know, all in all, most melee heroes have a pretty tough time with Dazzle in the mid lane, perhaps with the reactive armor being what it is, and Poison Touch being that physical damage. Timbersaw may fare decently. compLexity may be confident enough in it to pick it up, and this is a hero that Limp's been running even today, so could be sort of just in a groove. Does provide some pure damage as well. Sort of deal with the Blade Fury, at least through the chain. Chakram, of course, as well, but doesn't pierce the spell immunity. Naga Siren Ban is a very interesting one. Obviously, looking at the one position Naga here, I considered PL as well for compLexity gaming. So Naga Siren sort of a similar hero in that vein, illusion based hero. And there's the PA I was mentioning, and I think of all the options remaining, the PA certainly makes sense in this matchup. Both Warlock and Dazzle are susceptible to being bursted down. You do want to kill a hero in the Black Hole. Your lineup is very heavily reliant on doing so, as once you lose the Black Hole, you've got a lot less team fight power. And they do have the Chain Frost on top of it, but just having a hero that is very capable of killing a disabled target within the duration of that disable, makes sense, and doesn't care all that much about the Blade Fury from the Jug as the game wears on, being able to blink on top of him still. So I think this makes a lot of sense from compLexity, and just a hero in general that's held in high esteem recently. Mid laner could be the Dazzle, and we are going to see, this is funny to see here because Limp is such a fantastic Batrider player on the other side. And it was a hero that I considered for him, as I was mentioning the Timbersaw. But Forev is going to be the one to pick it up here. This is a hero he's comfortable with as well, no doubt. And he will take that towards the off lane. It will be Bryle to pick up the Dazzle. So it should be the two-position Dazzle, as we suspected. Bryle, the Canadian phenom. I mean, non-biased caster here, but he is the only Canadian in the game. We had a record-setting February 4th today in Canada, reaching 12 degrees Celsius, guys. And boy, did we need it. Last week had a couple of minus 30 days. I appreciate the 7 out of 10. And DreamLeague should be casting the EG team game. If they are not, guys, I'm sure that Grant is as well. So be sure to fire up your multi-Twitch. But as far as I know, that was the plan. So as we hop into this one, someone yell at me in chat between games, remind me to turn that pesky announcer off. And maybe not open the graphs right away. This is North American Dota, not South American Dota, but peculiar enough, we do have the initial pause. Restarting Dota is March, it seems, as the drums of battle ring out. We'll see if Colkin can carry their momentum over from their series with the all-Mexican squad, Xalotl. I am no Aztec mythologist or Aztec mythology expert, so don't flame me if I pronounce that wrong. But in any case, we do have compLexity coming off a series victory here. J.Storm did pretty well in the groups as well, but they're a little bit more cold, if you will. It is J.Storm on the Radiant side, missing their in-game icon here. As Bryle walks out, gonna get the ward down in the mid lane. It's gonna be a late smoke here. It was just popped if you heard the sound effect by compLexity, and looks like they are gonna be gunning for this first blood. Not the greatest first blood lineup, although they do have the shard block potentially. Fear hanging around on the Ogre is a tanky target, 700 HP, 8 armor, and he's picked up a Stout Shield. We talked about trading with that Tuscan Lich. Orb of Venom Stout Shield beginning for Fear. Dire side do get down some deep vision early on, so they'll at least get a beat on the lanes. Z-Freak sitting up on the high ground. Moo is hanging around. We'll look at the Dire vision. They do see the Juggernaut Radiant vision. They have no idea what is coming their way. And it is a 4v3. Okay, never mind. 3v3. Limp actually made his way back towards mid.
The battle begins.
And looks like we should just trade these bounties up 2 for 2. Limp gonna leave this one for now, but should be able to be picked up by Death, who gives him a hand in blocking mid lane. Still, he's gonna lose quite considerably to Bryle, and expect the Poison Touch to get a workin' here in this mid lane. Monkey's forever hanging around. No courier sighting just yet for the Dazzle, and it is gonna be that aggressive tri-lane top for now. Juggernaut, Warlock, Ogre, a very strong lane here with the extra sustain from the Ogre, extra sustain from the Warlock, excuse me, and the aggression provided by that Ogre. Early on, we're seeing some old school off-lane shenanigans. I mean, I love dual lanes as much as the next guy, guys, but they were getting stale, and the changes with the denies back to gold really helped bring us back to this sort of position where off-laners are being sacked and forced to do things like that. Of course, it is the 1v1 matchup in this case, as they will bring Monkeys Forever up to the top lane. But just cool to see, once again, all this sort of pulling shenanigans happening and things of that nature. But yeah, Death will do Enigma things. Forev, he's perhaps going to contest him a little bit as he drags the wave over. Does have the Firefly now that he's hit level 2, and certainly threatens the Eidolons with that maneuver. But we'll stick around in this top lane, as this is likely where the action... Well, Death will TP out first.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But likely where the action will occur, I would say. If we start to see some heavy outskilling mid, well, Limp is kind of low. We'll bring your way there, but kind of expected early on against the Dazzle. Limp will be forced to salve up here. Fear gonna body up Monkeys, but quite close to the tower. He should be just fine. (12 to 2). 12 and 2 to 7 and 0 in this mid lane. So Limp holding his own, but certainly being beaten right now as it stands. Gets a couple more points in that reactive armor. Should be able to stand his ground a little more firmly in this lane. And Juggernaut having a good time, 12 CS. But all three Dire Cores not falling behind by any stretch, although being beaten slightly. And Fear with that cheeky little deny there. This is the most fun lane in the game, bottom. As both heroes just dealing with the NPCs, playing a little World of Warcraft down there. Fire Blast, Ignite can go up top lane, but Miracle gets the blink over towards Z-Freak. Z-Freak has the tag team. They're actually going to turn this on to Fear and get a nice shard block. This could be our first blood, and it will more than likely, but the regen is there. Blade Fury comes through. They still get the first blood. Fairy Fire from Z-Freak. He's trying to make it away, but Moo will finish him off for the return kill. Still, you can see the bounty of gold difference there is favoring the Dire side as they do get the first blood. A little bit extra experience, of course, as the second kill happens in favor of the Radiant, but no less nicely done with the shard block and the turn. Now Monkeys, though, in trouble. Fear gonna find another kill, so 2-1 in this top lane and across the map for J.Storm. 22-5 on Bryle, the Canadian Prodigy's CS score at this point. Arcane Rune top as well. Has been scouted by the Radiant Ward. Dire don't actually see it at the moment. And so the Dazzle having a fantastic time mid, though. Timber's not. I mean, he's soon to ding his level 5, so not by any stretch having a terrible time. We've certainly seen worse in the mid lane. And felt that they really liked the hero. Timber saw enough to take an unfavorable matchup early on. But Limp certainly going to be tested in this one, considering his start. Miracle falling a little behind on the PA. Has not yet hit that level 3 mark. He is at the bottom of the board. But defensive tri-lane's kind of expected. It's a tough lane as well with the Ogre Warlock duo. Nighttime falls. And one apiece in the bounties so far. And it looks like we'll trade 2 each. Death and March doing the deed. Meanwhile, mid lane, Limp forced all the way back to his tier 2. And Poison Touch shouldn't kill him off here, but gets him close. He will end up shrining, it seems. Bryle, though, having a fantastic time, and the siege creep is here now, so a perfect time. And be sure that that was planned by the J.Storm mid laner as he makes his aggressive move on the timing of the siege creep wave. Great play by him. He'll get about 30% of that tower's HP for his troubles, perhaps even more. 670-ish. Monkey's going to take a spill top lane. And perhaps the largest concern thus far is not this mid lane, but the top lane for compLexity. Down 3-1 to J.Storm here. 20 CS on the PA, but level 3 is a little bit more concerning, whereas the Juggernaut soon to eclipse that level 4 mark. Dazzle already a couple of null talismans, and well on the way to his Necronomicon. 3-man rotation down bottom. Z-Freak will look at the Radiant Vision, and Forev, he just spots the Tusk now, making it under his tower. Shards will not quite catch him. Miracle's even made this rotation in. No mana on the Batrider. He's likely to take a spill here. And with the tag team, certainly will. They're trying to give the kill over to the PA. Unsuccessful, however. But they do have, again, the timing of these high-level Dota players. The siege creep here. Fear should be able to just throw an ignite at it, but doesn't know if he wants to show himself yet. Shows himself. Gets hit with the Malefice. Warlock going to come through, however. And look at all this damage. Fear will finally make his way out to kill the siege creep, and now Black Hole will catch him. The Warlock really has nothing but the Shadow Word, but the Ogre is so tanky. The health regen, the Shadow Word, keeping him alive. First Black Hole used and essentially thwarted. Now the TP in back from the revived Forev, along with Bryle. They're going to make them suffer for their insolence as Z-Freak will drop. The PA will drop. The tower will remain alive. The Black Hole off the board. And Moo is just having near free farm up top in the meantime. Monkeys does find some space mid, much needed space for the Lich. We talked about the Black Hole Chain Frost combination in the draft screen, and they are going to need to get that going. This is not a team that farms its way back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Really, the best farmer on the Dire side is the Enigma. So when your 1 and 2 positions need hero kills to scale, you definitely want to be able to get those early levels on the supports to help contribute. But a great start here for J.Storm on the Radiant. They're even looking for their level 5 on the Warlock soon. As you can see, he's almost on par with his carry in top lane. Z-Freak throws out a set of shards. Okay, wants to do some neutral farming, I guess. Not sure what the plan is there. But he'll make it away regardless. It's got to be something next level. Fear trying to make his way over, and they should kill Z-Freak. He's going to look for the Roche denial. Oh, doesn't get it. A valiant attempt by Zach, but unfortunately Z-Freak drops 6-2 now. And we're looking at a lead starting to accrue here. 2,500 in both net worth and experience for the Radiant side. We'll take a look at the net worth chart, and you can see the top 3 spots occupied all by Radiant cores, excuse me, as the Dire core is lagging behind. Limp trying to get some solo time up top. He is level 7, so can sort of body Moon off, but Bryle's essentially following him around level 8 on the Dazzle. And it's not too often that you see a Timbersaw turn tail and run from a Dazzle, but we are in 2019. What a time to be alive. Miracle is level 4 on the PA right now. The Dazzle, I mean, you saw it level 8. Jugger level 6, who was his laning equivalent, or counterpart, if you will. And the Batrider 7. So a major concern right now, as we flagged early on, is this PA. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Midnight Pulse going to reveal a couple of Radiant heroes. They're going to tuck themselves away into the trees and likely concede this tier 1 as the wave encroaches. Meanwhile, though, the Juggernaut working on the tower in mid, and now they know they can make this dive with no TP support, and they'll do exactly that. March immediately goes for the TP out. Malefice and the Sinister Gaze going to keep Forev in striking range, but they can't pursue forward for whatever reason here. Didn't really have vision, I suppose. He fireflies over the shards, and he's going to have a tough time making it away here, but he'll at least make this difficult. He goes for the TP. They don't have anything to cancel this. He makes it away, and so much time wasted. 4 heroes down bottom. They are going to try and make a response top. The tower is still fairly healthy, but in the meantime, mid lane, they did quite a bit of damage. Sitting on about a 3rd HP is that tier 1. And J.Storm just methodical in the early going here. Looks like that tower kill bottom, though, did offer a nice surplus of gold, or influx of gold to that Enigma. Meanwhile, though, this PA has just become food. Level 5, 11 minutes in as the position 1. Miracle not having... He may need a miracle at this point to usher his way back into relevance. Limp, though, certainly a hero that can create some space if he's given opportunity. Moo setting up, Monkeys, excuse me, setting up on mid, but being wrapped on by Moo. Moo has an Omni Slash and doesn't even need to use it here. Just finish him with that level 4 Blade Fury under the tier 2 with ease. And he'll cackle in the face of the Lich as he takes him out. Limp forced away once again by the Dazzle, and when it only takes a single hero to be defending at any point on the map, very concerning for any squad. compLexity in this game starkly on the back foot. But they do have this Enigma. This is a game-changing hero. He has opted for the H-Dom early on, though, so it does seem like he's going to play a little bit away from the team. You know, kind of play that pushing role a bit, keep one lane shoved, and then sort of drop the Black Hole as a reactionary tool. But, you know, you do want to get some semblance of map control for this PA and create some safe areas for her to farm, so it's certainly understood. But at the same time, feels like he desperately needs that team fight item to be able to turn this game. We talked about sort of him being the only hero who can farm on the Dire side, and they are going to need to create some space for the PA. Z-Freak does get some mid, though. He'll get a Walrus Punch, have that ready, as he dings level 6. Lich, the only one in the game not to have his ultimate available yet. And the second Black Hole is available, so the Lich really needs that level 6, and he's quite a ways away, in fact. Still 500 XP or so. He'll get a huge wave here if he can survive. But Dazzle keeping it healed up. Necro Books deployed as well, and it forces the Lich's TP away. And the comeback scenario gets further into the future. Deferred into the future for this compLexity side. Meanwhile, the Radiant take out the tier 1 top. Oh, mid lane. Apologies, we missed a kill there. They do get the Ogre, so a triumvirate of heroes here finding the Ogre. And a little bit of experience going the way of the PA, the Tusk, and the Timbersaw. So that helps, certainly. Limp will make his way into the jungle, but he's under Radiant Vision here. They've yet to make a move towards him. He is a Timbersaw, so he's a difficult kill. Meanwhile, Bryle going to look to take out the second tier 1 for his squad in this game. And unless he's denied, should be pretty easy. He does end up getting it. Nicely played by Bryle. Canadian Dota 2 player extraordinaire. Chain Frost is available, finally, for compLexity, and not a moment too soon, 14 minutes into this game, so look for them to make a smoke play sometime soon. But up on the high ground now, Fear and March, Chaotic Offering at the ready, will drop it onto the highest net worth target on the compLexity side. He does have a Black Hole available. Can they turn this? He's pretty tanky with the H-Dom, but they will be able to pincer him in the trees and kill him off. And that is a major, major pick off there. He will buy out the mechanism recipe, but doesn't have it completed just yet. And with the Black Hole off the board, there's literally no threat on the map for the Radiant side, as the Chaotic Offering Demon will march down. Golem, I should say, will march down the lane. Lasso is going to find one, and that is going to be Z-Freak's Tusk. He'll hide himself in the snowball. There's no one TPing to Shrine, though, and Tag Team will be all for naught as he's taken out. Chaotic Offering Golem takes out the wave in the meantime. And, you know, some much-needed space for Limp. We are doing a little bit of farming in the jungle on Miracle as well, who is level 7 now, but overall, 3,500 gold lead going the way of the Radiant. Experience about the same. And even Fear here on level 8 at this point. Looking at a Midas. I've seen that item increase in popularity over the last couple of tournaments. Limp does have the Yules at this point. Could be nice up against the Omni Slash. Really, this is just going to kind of abate his farming going forward. Aid his farming. What the hell does abate mean? Help. Miracle in the mid. The Illusions will scout out Z-Freak, so he'll be safe for now. And Limp actually going to try and press forward. This is a tanky Dazzle, though. 1,400 HP. They've got a lot of targets on him. He does end up getting the Grave off. Now March coming through. Chain Frost going to bounce once. Will not bounce back, however. And the Dagger does not kill off Bryle. The Shadow Word keeping him safe. So the Chain Frost is down. And the Enigma now present. Black Hole at the ready. But really, the follow-up damage is a little bit lacking with that Lich ultimate off the board. So huge for the Dazzle to survive. 2 nulls, a Necro, you know, the strength offered by the Necro book, as well as the Medallion. And Bryle very tanky, effectively, sitting on 1,400 HP and 13 armor at this juncture in the game. Moo having a blast, 8k net worth. That's not what I want. That's what I want. Highest GPM in the game.
Radiant are scattered. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire structures are
They have some decent wave clear with the Timber. The problem is mostly that he has to get far too close to be able to deploy that chakram without sort of wasting all his mana. And Miracle just desperately trying to make an attempt at a comeback, but already the first tier 2 of the game being heavily threatened and going to be eliminated here at 18 minutes in. And compLexity almost looking like they're on the reverse side of the previous game where they stomped the Mexican squad in about 20 minutes. Mechanism is up for death, and we've yet to see a smoke movement from compLexity, and partly you can attribute that to, well, they don't have any freaking vision on the map.
dire are scattered.
Really just the one ward here and the one ward in mid. But it does feel like they need a team fight. And they did have this ward in mid, so they will be able to take it out now. The Radiant side will. Death flying through. Poison Touch will not connect. Limp is here as well. This could be the opportunity for compLexity to come back in the game. They isolate Fear, but they've seen this story once before, and the Ogre survived. So they do not want to initiate on him, much like J.Storm does not want to initiate on the Timbersaw. J.Storm well aware of their advantage, not going to take too high of a risk here. Miracle under the blur active right now, hanging around in the river. Limp just going to take a peek inside the pit. He's being pursued by a Necronomicon archer who lost sight of him and is now just staring into the abyss. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Alright, I'm sorry. Smoke movement from J.Storm. Blink, Boots of Travel, drums at the ready here for Forev. So he is speedy as hell, 487 MS. They do not catch a glimpse of Limp, however. But they will catch the Lich. Not the Pulitzer Prize they were looking for, but it may allow them to Roche. It is only 20 seconds of a window, though. So, looks like J.Storm will just take a kill for the sake of a kill for the moment. Maybe they take a fight for the sake of a fight, though, going forward. Flamebreak going to connect on to 2. Wave going to get shoved in. Necros are deployed. Limp will shove it back. And in the meantime, Miracle just AFK. She's the grand beneficiary of this last minute or so. Now starting to catch up, nipping at the heels of the Bat Rider as far as net worth goes. But it is the Juggernaut who by far is the most farmed on the map, and looking to accelerate that with the Maelstrom pickup. So it definitely feels like J.Storm have the tools they need to continue to press forward their advantage. And now we finally see the first major smoke movement of the game for compLexity. They have brought the Lich and the Enigma, really the two major linchpins of this team fight lineup. And they are going to do a wrap around in mid. Smoke soon to expire, though. It is tough. Oh, a couple of heroes down the hill. They jump forward for the lasso. This could be perfect for compLexity. Everyone's grouped up. The black hole coming through. It's a 4-man black hole. Chain Frost bouncing as well. Omni Slash will kill off the Lich and another. They get the PA, but still, Moo kind of standing all by his lonesome. They're now going to buy back just on Fear's Ogre, as they don't want to give up the Roche here. Z-Freak going for the TPL. Won't be lucky, as Moo slices through him on the Juggernaut. And despite getting perhaps the best possible initiation they could have in the mid lane, let's look at the damage here. Enigma, 2,400. Lich, 1,500. That's exactly the combination we were showcasing earlier. And they do get it done. 8k damage. It ends up being a 3 for 4 in compLexity's favor. But when all is said and done, 1,500 gold, a couple thousand experience, and it may mean Roche is lost. And certainly that's the biggest objective on the back of that fight. And the other thing is that, well, Moo got all the gold from all that. He got 2 of the 3 kills that were net by J.Storm. And there is no response in time now from the Dire side. Brile will even exit the pit to ensure. Jump forward. Another lasso going to find the Lich for the second time. And a massive crit from Moo to take him out. I mean, Moo is just balling. 6-0-2 in this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Playing wicked like the cosplayer. Starts to beat into the tier 2. Lotus Orb will be there defensively on to Limp. And he'll try and press forward. Moo will go right into the spin. He's got 8 stacks of that reactive armor, so not feeling entirely vulnerable here. But still, this tier 2 in trouble. Glyph gonna come out, but should only delay the inevitable. Healing ward deployed by Moo. The Radiant actually the ones to pick up the last hit on the tower, unfortunately, but they get it nonetheless. And so only those offlane towers remaining now for compLexity. And after that Roche and that tower, you're looking at essentially a 6k net worth lead. Still, though, Black Hole available in 25 seconds, but still smoked up the hill now is compLexity. They do finally have this Deso on Miracle's PA, and that certainly is an item that makes sense in this scenario. You've got to be able to get kills and get them early. Maybe take out a Warlock ult out of the fight, take out a Grave out of the fight. Oh, Invisibility Rune and another lasso available for Rev. There is, however, a Dire Sentry in the mid. But Brile, he's got the full mechanism to answer that of Death's Enigma. And almost the full Greaves as well. Very close. Nice self-purge there. Not that he really has anything to worry about as far as purging. Perhaps a Malefice. I don't even know if Malefice is purgeable. Yes, it is. Learn something every day in Dota. You would have assumed it was, but never be 100% sure. The workings of the Frog's mind. Tier 1 going to be taken out here. Moo's got Blink, so he can easily isolate the back line. And he's got Aegis with, so he's got the balls with which to do it. But really, why extend yourself beyond what is necessary? You'll just stand as the siege engine, as most juggernauts do, especially those that are this far ahead, and continue to beat on the buildings. And you see 3 heroes, 1 just came back, but all scattered across the map for the Dire. As they begin to try to mount this defense, Midnight Pulse will fly out. Limp will eliminate the creep wave pretty quickly, and he'll even reflect a Ignite back. Still though, backdoor protection is deactivated at the moment. Moo gonna pop the spin. He's got backup behind him, but just wants to ensure he'll be able to blink away beyond those shards. BKB trying to be built into desperately by Miracle. He's still about 1100 gold away, as another smoke is purchased by the Lich, by Monkeys Forever. Ooh, double damage on Miracle. We'll see if maybe he finds someone mopping up the wave bottom lane in a moment, but it's pushed in real far, so no real reason for anyone to TP back. And as I say that, Moo does, Forev, excuse me, does so, who's got a Force Staff now, as they will pass each other like ships in the night, undetected. Which in this day and age is probably very rare, because radars probably detect a lot of things. But ships, not submarines. Limp, we saw that Lotus Orb pick up earlier. And no major progress made. Looks like he's working on a Lincoln's. Trying to counter sort of the Forev initiation. Midnight Pulse still does a good amount of damage here. Will force Moo out of the base.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Moo gonna be trapped in. Sinister Gaze actually brings him in. Snowball's there, but the spin comes out just before. Fire Blast onto the Lich as well will keep compLexity at bay. They do end up losing their tier 3 for free. And very disciplined, J.Storm make a beeline for the Eastern Shrine. As the Aegis expires,
Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
Mu is just having a fantastic time this game. And Miracle's caught up decently, in fact. If he can get a BKB, there certainly is hope here, but the map beginning to shrink more and more quickly for the compLexity side. 15-7 only, though, the kill score, and just a 6k net worth lead. So although they feel like they have a massive lead, we can never underestimate the power of an Enigma high ground. No racks taken yet means that this game is still well within reach, and if a BKB does come out for the PA, they could potentially take a team fight, and maybe even a Roshan. But we're unlikely to see J.Storm make any moves towards high ground before the next Roshan spawn, so it's really going to have to be on compLexity to make the move.
Radiant are scanning.
Radiant scan as they move into the Dire jungle. And just trying to find someone, a straggler farming the jungle. They're unsuccessful in doing so, but they do get down some good vision and some detection down in the jungle. Up to the high ground. compLexity will go. Unfortunately, they don't get the... Well, they do now get the right sentry down. They won't be able to eliminate that that Radiant one just yet because they are under the cover of smoke and don't want to blow it. Limp up to the high ground. He's the target they want to let in first. Juggernaut is attacking the shrine. They're hanging around, and now Limp throws out a chakram. No one really near Mu, but they do bait the spin out early. Recall, the Aegis has expired now, so we could see a fight break out. Chakram will sort of miss on Fear. Fire Blast comes out. Now Lasso is going to find one, and Mu blinks immediately after the Bat Rider. They'll take out the Lich at the beginning of the fight. Lotus Orb is there for Limp. He will chain away. Buyback comes out from the Lich, but J.Storm are on the high ground, so there's no reason for them to pursue down here, and they're going to have to be chased out. Fire Blast will multicast onto Miracle. He pops the BKB. Needs to press forward onto a target. He gets onto Brow, but the Shallow Grave is there. Mu Omni slashing on the backside onto the Enigma, and now the Chaotic Offering dropped as well. The Enigma is so low, but he can't turn to use the Black Hole. Limp out in no man's land. Miracle even further out, but he does get the kill on the Dazzle. He will end up falling for it. Limp going to chain away and TP out. Z-Freak going to shard up and TP out. And it looks like they will be able to extract themselves pretty cleanly from that fight. And not only that, they do still have both Black Hole and the Chain Frost. However, they do use the buyback on the Lich. So Roshan, a very risky proposition for the Radiant side. They do not have their Dazzle Shallow Grave, and they know the ultimates are still available for compLexity. Look at that. Mu did 6k damage, half his team's damage in that fight. Most of it done by Limp for compLexity's side. Miracle gets himself a kill, though, and I think that's well worth his death, considering his position in the game. He kills a Dazzle who's higher net worth than himself. You gotta just get some feeling of momentum when you're having a game like Miracle is on his PA right now. Very difficult beginning, and just to even get that kill before you die must feel, you know, give you some sense of life, some sense of contribution in the game. Limp, though, meanwhile, over on the east side, Waller's Pump's going to go out. Bryle going to pop his Ghost Scepter, but he's going to be Black Holed, solo Black Holed, just to get the Dazzle. Seems well worth it at this point. Meanwhile, the Yule Scepter comes out from Limp onto the Bat Rider, but they can't follow it up just yet. So the Black Hole is down for 40 seconds, and if they don't get something else off the back of this, this could just mean Roche for the Radiant, so they'll press forward, looking for more. Forev in a bit of trouble. Healing Word is nearby. Dagger comes out. Chain Frost is there. Walrus Punch. They get a second kill. Immediate buyback from the Bat Rider. The multicast out onto Z-Freak. He gets low. He's pushed away. Limp now in a little bit of trouble. Has to chain over the river, and Miracle. He's going to be left behind. Mu gets him. Mu will blink forward. Get another godlike streak for the Juggernaut. Death TP's away. But it came for 3 other members of compLexity. And that means Roche. J.Storm well aware of the needed objective at this juncture in the game, and that is the Big Rock Man and his spoils. Aegis and Cheese available. They instantly buy back on Forev. They know the black hole is down. And you can't blame compLexity for making that move, right? They take one out, but they use the black hole to do it. It's an important target. But because they've used that black hole, they know that immediately as he respawns, they're simply going to go into Roche. So they have to go get more. They look for another kill. They find it on the Batrider, but Mu is far too strong. And he keeps them alive. The Batrider buys back, comes back into the fray. They win the fight. They get the Roche. And now compLexity in big trouble. Chain Frost down for 25. Black Hole down for 55. One lane of racks is near guaranteed for J.Storm here, barring a big misstep. Jump forward. Fear is going to get Walrus Punch in the air. Greaves will keep him safe. Bryle available with the Shadow Wave as well. Mu back to work on the tower. Healing Ward accompanying him from the back. Jump forward. Lasso is going to find one. They get the Eul Scepter up onto the Batrider. The Lotus Orb is there on Miracle. He's able to blink away. Chaotic Offering was stop casted for a moment, but they get the melee racks. Crimson Guard's been activated. It's got to be the Enigmas. It is. So the range rack still stands. Mu going to flex on towards top lane. Black Hole's up in 3. Enigma does not have a blink, but he will smoke in the back lines, and they do have a Chain Frost. Limp standing his ground. Jump forward. Walrus Punch is there. It will just be the Aegis if they get Mu here, but it'll be a big kill nonetheless. He's able to Manta and blink away. Now they go for the Dazzle. He's going to pop the Cheese rather early, and there's no response just yet from Mu and his boys. Now the Chaotic Offering coming through. They start to focus on Death's Enigma. They'll get him down. Omnislash finds a second. It's the Lich. Limp pops his BKB, but he doesn't do enough damage without the Enigma and the Lich. And there's no buybacks for these heroes. Jump forward onto Bryle from Miracle. He's activated his BKB, but they can't find the kill. Now a lasso, a second lasso from Forev, finds the PA. Walrus Punch will get the Dazzle, but it doesn't really matter. Beyond Godlike Juggernaut. Double kill. Isn't able to take Limp out, but only 2 standing. It will be 3 and 4 shortly, though, for the Dire side, and they may just have hope yet. The game seems to be further and further slipping away in terms of golden experience, but they do have Black Hole Chain Frost available. Mu, however, does have that Aegis. Miracle has a buyback ready on the PA. But J.Storm, they're wise to that. They know they took a great fight. It's a crippling fight if they give no opportunity, no window of opportunity for compLexity to gain something back. And wisely they back off. Disciplined play from the more North American squad, or whatever you want to call them. I guess they are very largely North American. Well, 2 Koreans. 1 Canadian, 2 Americans. In any case, looking like one assembled unit in this game. 24-11, 15,000 net worth lead. And again, it just, you know, the Blink Dagger is now finally up for the Enigma. He's foregone buyback for it. But it just, we just haven't seen the big enough. The one big black hole we see in the game was sort of the only semblance of hope for this squad. And it took the Radiant side walking into that position, because the Enigma has, you know, had to go for the mech, HOD, and Crimson Guard before the Blink. So it's been a rough game. And we mentioned in the draft screen how much was on his back. They sort of built this draft around that Blade Fury Piercing Ultimate. And we've yet to see it pay dividends.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Limp TPing back as the tier 3 will be whittled to dust by Moo. Fire Blast gonna multicast 2 times on Limp. Flame Break goes out. The Lotus Orb is there from Limp. He'll stand in the front lines for a moment. They put the Frost Armor onto the racks and force Moo back momentarily. Death hanging around. Has his Blink Dagger ready. Only Moo is showing. He's got the Aegis. Sinister Gaze is there. They'll get the Shallow Grave off. He'll take out the melee racks. Now Black Hole gonna find 2. The Chaotic Offering though immediately cancels it. Chain Frost will bounce through. They do get the 1 kill. It's going to be on Moo right after the Aegis expires. This may be their chance. Maybe their opportunity. Now they jump forward. They'll get Forev as well with Miracle. What luck for compLexity. The Aegis expires at 3 minutes until the Roche spawn. It literally expired as the fight began. And somehow they get Moo. However, their melee racks was taken out. That's 2 melee racks off the board and a 3rd exposed. But this is a small window of opportunity. How much is that Juggernaut kill worth? 1,000 gold going the way of Limp. And I'm sure another great amount going to his teammates. I mean, this was 15k just a minute ago, folks. And we're looking something like 10k at this point. Experience is almost completely nullified with 1 kill of the Juggernaut. And look at the lanes at this point because of this 1 happenstance. The lanes are all on the Radiant side of the map. 48 seconds, no Forev. They know Forev bought back in this mid lane fight.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So maybe they take a little bit of a shot at this. They have a Desolator. Wow, the dagger will crit and take out 2 Necro units, or at least 1. I'm not sure what happened to the second. That was exciting to watch. Over 1,100 damage on that stifling dagger. Oh, the Hex, the high ground ward. In trouble now is the Tusk. They'll put down the Midnight Pulse. Seafreak will be surviving for now. But he will limp away with very little HP to work with. Does have the Urn to help him heal up.
This should make my life easier.
How did the Radiant see them there? That was interesting. I'm not exactly sure how they... Unless there was a ward here that was denied. In any case, we've got ourselves a game all of a sudden, folks. 8k net worth. The PA is 3rd overall, back into relevance for Miracle. A very slow and patient game, and look at what he conveniently finds. That late game DD rune bottled up. Forev gonna find the maybe hardest target to kill here. They do have a Blink Black Hole available as well. BKB popped by Limp. Bryo goes over to the north, takes a lot of damage. Stifling Dagger gonna connect onto Moo, doesn't do all that much. Blink forward from death. He doesn't find a target though. Now Z-Freak, he snowballed way too far forward. He's in trouble. He will be able to punch up Moo, but Moo ends up taking him out. Now Chain Frost gonna fly through. Grave is there onto Fear. Moo trying to work on the back lines. He gets Sinister Gaze though by the Lich. Can they finish him? No. Moo will take out the Lich, and the Omni Slash completely soaked up by Miracle. The PA gonna be taken out. Limp soon to fall for sure, as the Fire Blast takes him. Ultra kill for the Radiant Juggernaut. And a buyback from the PA. There is no buyback available for Limp. And this could just be it. Moo will take a look at the tier 4s, but make his way to the safer play. That's the top racks. Monkeys could be in trouble.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
He will Sinister Gaze to just delay. Taken out. No buyback. And in 42 minutes, it seems, J.Storm should be able to close this one out. Miracle trying to cut the wave after buying back. He'll be taken out. Last man standing is compLexity's deaths, and the drafter will fall, as the Dire side in this one put up a valiant effort. But the lanes, the early game just went far too brutal for this compLexity squad. They lost the mid lane. They lost the top lane. Perhaps you could say they drew even bottom, but the Enigma just didn't have enough of an impact with his net worth. And there were just too many relevant cores. All three of them for J.Storm. Very well played by J.Storm in game one, guys. A discipline showing from them. Never really overextending. The only window back into the game for them, truly, for compLexity, aside from the big black hole in mid, was an Aegis expiring, an untimely Aegis expiry for Moo, who ends up having an absolutely amazing game. 18-1-5, 30k net worth. The boy, the legend, Moo. Known for his timber saw in DC at TI6. And he's going to show up Limp's Timbersaw in this one. Having a fantastic game, guys. Game 1 going to J.Storm. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast so far. DreamLeague Season 11 NA qualifiers will resume shortly.